These are incredibly difficult days unlike anything I've seen in my life. I wish you could join me here in my backyard where we could sit and talk a bit about it together and pray together about the things we're experiencing today in our world. But it's a significant time where we feel like with all the pressures around us, there's very little margin left in life. There's significant polarization around us. There's uncertainty of what the future will hold. And there's this sense that we see around us of people responding poorly, responding with fear and anger. And we're seeing fragmented relationships. It's impacting families, it's impacting friendships, and quite sadly and frankly, it's impacting the church. You know, friends, the Bible has a lot to say about unity. Ephesians chapter 4 is a great chapter where the Apostle Paul talks about the fact that we need to choose unity. Now that doesn't mean that we sacrifice or compromise biblical truth in any way. And it's not about the fact that we shouldn't have opinions or convictions. If you know me, you know I have some opinions and I have some convictions. But it is about how we relate to one another, how we treat each other, and the significance that we need to be biblical in what we do. I think we need to ask the question, what's influencing how we look at what's going on in the world around us today? Is it what we are hearing and seeing on the media? Is it what we're reading in our social media feeds? Is it what other people are telling us? Or is it rooted in biblical truth? It's also about reflecting the heart of Jesus to those around us. Jesus, on the night that he celebrated the Last Supper with his disciples, in John chapter 13, he said this to his disciples. He said, "A new command I give you, love one another as I have loved you, so you must love one another. And by this, everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another." A significant part of our witness in the world that people would even know that we're Christ followers is how we treat each other. He goes on later that evening in a prayer that he prays in John 17, a prayer for us. And this is what he says, "My prayer is not for them or the disciples alone. I pray also for those who will believe in me through their message," that's us, "that all of them may be one, Father. Just as you are in me and I am in you, may they also be in us, so that the world may believe that you've sent me." Friends, a significant part of our witness in the world that people would see that we're Christ followers, that they would see that the Father sent Jesus to be our Savior, is the unity that we share. It's loving one another. It's treating one another with kindness. It's what the Apostle Paul said in Philippians chapter 2, that we should have the same attitude in us as Jesus had, that we should consider and count others as more important than ourselves. It's seeing others through the eyes of Jesus. We have an incredible opportunity, my friends, to have a witness for Jesus Christ in our world today. But if we're biting and chewing and devouring one another in our families and our friendships and in our churches, we are going to lose our witness in the world. And so now's a time to choose unity, to choose to be winsome and Christ-like in how we respond to each other, and to love one another with that self-sacrificial love of God. May people see Christ in us, the hope of glory, even in some of these most difficult days, and know that I'm praying for you too.